Sisters, are you ready? They're ready. We have Mother Assumpta and Sister Annunciata. That's a beautiful name.
In 1984, I was the Prioress General of a community, and my secretary and I were going to Rome to present our constitutions. And so that's what we did. But the sister with me said, let's go to Medjugorje. Now, I have to admit, I was more like Father John at this point in my life. There wasn't that much coming out in the United States about Medjugorje, and I wasn't certainly against it or for it. I just didn't know that much about it, and I thought, okay, oh, sure. I'm all for the Blessed Mother and all of the things. So I said, oh, sure, we'll just go down there. So we got on a train, and I have to admit my ignorance. I had no clue that Yugoslavia was communist. And so anyway, so we get on the train and they said, just get your visa at the border. I said, okay. So we went, and so we got to the border of Yugoslavia. And this young, tall, thin soldier or whatever he was got on the train, and he looked at Sister and me and he said, get off the train and go to the police. I mean, so we got our suitcases and we got off the train, and everyone on the train was looking at us out the window. And there wasn't like a train station that I remember. It was like a little building. So we were just standing there with our suitcases, and we kept standing, and he was marching up and down, and I had no clue where to go to the police. So we just stood there, and after a while, he just said, just get back on the train. So anyway, so we got back on the train. We were going to Mostar, and I just have to keep acknowledging my ignorance. I had no idea how to get from Mostar to Medjugorje. So I said, oh, it's simple. We'd done this all through Italy, and it'd work because St. Joseph was in charge of us. Just get off the train, go find a convent, and they can help you. So anyway, we got off the train. We began to walk and walk and walk. There was no convent. And I thought, oh, no. So we came to a Catholic church. And outside the Catholic church, there was a big bus, and there were Austrians going to Medjugorje. I found out later. But anyway, they were in the church, and the sister was showing them through the church. So I went up to her, and I said, Sister, is there a convent anywhere? And she said, oh, no. She said, you have to take a taxi, and you have to go, I think it's to the next town or city. I did not have the money to do that. And I said, Sister Marion, we are going back to Mostar. Get on the train and go back to Rome. This is ridiculous. And I mean, so anyway, that's what we were going to do. There was a little motel at the train station. We were going to spend the night and just get the train back to Rome because it was just too complicated. So anyway, so we walked back to the train station. And this group of people that had been at the church, I don't know why they went back to the train station. They were going to stay there that night. And they were going to Medjugorje. They said, we have 2 empty seats on our bus. Would you like to go to Medjugorje? Now, if that's not the Blessed Mother taking care of you. A seminarian told me one time, if you visit Marian's shrine, she will always take care of you. It was wonderful, the greatest group of people. So we got, I don't know if there are any more seats, but we got 2 empty seats. So we got on the bus. They were going to go down. There was nothing at that time in Medjugorje. There were no hotels. I don't remember. I mean, I don't think in 1984 there was anything, but anyway, I just remember, we walked around with them when they wanted to just kind of see the visionaries' houses, and so we're walking around. I remember Yaakov, if I remember, was in his backyard. He was just a young boy, young man. So anyway, so we were going to stay there. They were going to go to mass. They were going to go back to Mostar. And so we were going to do this with them. So anyway, so Sister Marion and I were in the church waiting for mass. And this usher came up to us and said, "Would you like to go to the sacristy?" Now, in those days, that's where the visions were taking place, in the sacristy. All the children were there except, I believe, Maria. She was in Sarajevo, but all the children were there. And he said, "Would you like to go to the sacristy?" And I looked, and there was a line of people, and I guess they just allowed so many people in there. And I said, "Sister Marion," that was her name, I said, "I am not going to break line with those people. No telling how long they've been waiting there." I said, "You go," because she's the one that wanted to go, to Medjugorje. So I said, "You go, and I'll just stay here." So anyway, she got up and she left to go to the sacristy, and the usher came back to me and he said, "Wouldn't you like to go to the sacristy?" And I thought, well, if the Blessed Mother wants me in the sacristy, I'm going to go. So anyway, so I got up and went. So we were in there during the vision of all of the visionaries except Maria. That's what I understood. And I thought, if God just does not take care of my ignorance, I mean, it turned out to be just a wonderful, wonderful trip to Medjugorje. They took us back to the motel, and we made it safely back to Rome. So it was, I just look back at that as one of the most wonderful gifts of Our Lady to me and Sister, because she wanted to go, and it made me a believer for sure. So anyway, I had the privilege of going, I think it was last year, to Medjugorje. It is like a different world there now with the hotels but it's still such a peaceful, prayerful place. It's incredible. There were thousands of people there, but yet it was so prayerful. So anyway, I think Sister Annunciata has a little something to tell you also. So good.
I was called to Medjugorje for the first time in 1991, and I was in high school. And I had an opportunity throughout my high school years to return to Medjugorje several times. And I was given so many blessings and graces going there. Our Lady allowed me to see several things. I was able to see the sun dance, and I saw the cross on Mount Krizovek light up at night when there weren't lights up there. And I saw it from the ground down by the parish. I was able to see the cross spin. All kinds of wonderful things that really bolstered my faith. But those weren't the most important things. I think one of the really important things that Our Lady gave me there in Medjugorje was when she said, "Pray, pray, pray. Pray with the heart." She was teaching me how to pray. She was teaching me that prayer was important, which I didn't really know. She was teaching me that it's not just a matter of rattling off words. We can do that, and it's a really good start. But what she really wants is prayer from the heart. What she really wants is for us to trust God, trust that He really has our lives in the palm of His hand. He desires us to trust Him because He's leading us. He's leading us, and He's using Our Lady to lead us. She came to help us to have faith and to know that if we but speak to God from the heart, He will lead us. He will continue to help us to grow closer to Him and to help us through all our trials and to deepen our joys, to make them real, so that we can spend eternity with Him in heaven. That's what they're really all about. That's what Our Lady desires for each one of us. She wants us to come to Him and to entrust our hearts to Him. And I didn't know it at the time, but prayer is so vital for all of this. If we don't pray, then we can't reach God, because He's throughout our lives, He's calling to us. Everything is Him reaching towards us and trying to draw us to Him. But when we pray, it's our response to Him. It's giving Him permission to work in our lives. It's giving Him permission to be with us. And that's what we so desperately need. That's where we're going to find our peace. Our Lady of Peace, Queen of Peace in Medjugorje. That's what she desires for us. She desires our hearts to rest in God, not in her. You know, she loves us tenderly, as everybody's been saying, how we are her children. And she wants to help us. But what she wants is for us to trust in God and to really just embrace His will in our lives. So, Our Lady of Medjugorje, pray for us.